Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm going to start this out again with a lot of this may be hearsay, but it is what I could gather. I'm not positive about its accuracy, so we'll just put a blanket statement over it and say it is all just hearsay. I would like to begin by mentioning that Gabby's parents took the most painful moment of their lives and decided to turn it into a miracle for others. In such a tragedy, they show to be exceptional role models for others. Her mother had mentioned that they had seen a Wyoming license plate that said GBZ for Gabs, and her mother said she is with us. If you hear me sneezing, well, it may just be a phony sneeze. My oldest son, when he was young, he would always pretend to sneeze and make comments underneath his sneezes because he thought it was funny. So I can't really make the phony sneezes with the words in it. So sometimes I just do a really bad phony sneeze, which means that I'm called BS. Or, it could just be that hey, I'm having allergies. But if you hear me doing a really phony sneeze, it might be me just saying, oh, I don't believe that. That's such BS. Or, yeah, I'm allergic to animals and we took in a stray dog, so it could be that. Okay, Gabby's post. I'm going to begin with the one, this is a timeline and of Gabby's post. I'm going to begin with the one that really touched me. May 27th, 2020. She's in California and she posts, I can't wait to get back to days like this, traveling the world with you and asking strangers to take our picture. Never taking moments like this for granted again. Love you. Okay, and June 23rd, 2020, she's in Soap Creek in Cobb County, Georgia, and she had that Fight Club book by Chuck, I don't know how to say his last name, on her lap. I don't know if you heard anything about that book, but it's on their Instagram, and I guess Brian really liked that book. Hold on. It's posted a photo. He expressed his love of literature and praised the author who wrote the novel to cope with his father's tragic murder. But it was about, yeah, it's about a man whose wife and child die. I guess he's a serial killer on a road trip. So he becomes a serial killer and he's on a road trip. So I really don't know what to think of that. So anyway, there is that. And June 24th, they're in Soap Creek Paper Mills Ruins in Cobb County, Georgia. It's an interesting place to go. January 11th, she's in Charleston, South Carolina. January 31st, she's in Yosemite National Park. That's beginning of this year. February 26th, Fort DeSoto Historical Park. March 27th, she's on the Appalachian Trail in Georgia. June 17th, I believe they went to visit her family in New York. July 2nd was the start of their planned 4-month cross-country excursion from New York. Not certain, like I said, I told you before, I'm not certain how much money she might have saved up or if she had a financial budget laid out, but she did document their journey on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. The trip was supposed to end October in Portland, Oregon, according to their mother, who said they had a plan and that Gabby had an itinerary. And I'm not sure if they were dating or if he was still her fiance at the time they began the trip. I heard somewhere in the media that they might have taken a step back and they were just boyfriend and girlfriend and not engaged anymore. July 4th, Instagram, they're in Monument Rocks, Kansas, with the geotags. July 8th, Colorado Springs, Colorado, July 11th. Last day, Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, Colorado. I think they were there also July 10th, of course, if that was their last day. July 12th, maybe, and I believe the 16th and the 18th, they might have been in Zion National Park, Utah. Um, can't remember for sure about the 12th. I have a question mark for some reason. July 21st and 22nd, they have posts there in Bryce Canyon National Park. Talking about the rain and them being together in the tent. And so far as I could see, they weren't splitting up. They were together when they were hiking and together all the time, it seems, according to their IG posts. So July 26th, they have an IG Instagram mentioning Mystic Hot Springs, Utah with photos. July 30th, mentioning Canyonlands National Park, Utah with photos. It shows the picture and it's got the geotag. July 31st, Mesa Arch, Canyonlands, Utah with photos. It says live more with less. July 12th, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., Gabby and Brian allegedly spent 6 hours in the coffee shop in Moab, Utah, across the street from where one of the ladies worked that died in a double homicide. Because Brian mentioned it when he was speaking to the police that they had been at the coffee shop for 6 hours. August 12th, there's Instagram photos of her at the Arches National Park, mentioning them hiking together at 7 a.m. on Monday, and he was taking photos, also stating we also camped for one night in Devil's Garden with the cover off of our tent to fall asleep watching the stars, trying to catch a glimpse of the meteor shower. August 12th, today is the last day that Gabby geotags her location on Instagram. Witnesses say he hit her, he took her cell phone away from her. He was trying to drive off and leave her, taking her van. The 911 call for him hitting her was allegedly seen outside the Moab grocery store co-op where the 24-year-old murdered girl worked. Was she working then? I think some people said she might have worked from, I think it was 9 to 3. But had they spoken, could they have met there or even at a campsite or even at a local place while Brian stayed the night in a motel? Moab, Utah officers Eric Pratt and Daniel Scott Robbins were dispatched around 4:30 p.m. To the white van with the license plate number. And he tells police he does not have a cell phone in the video, but someone says he pulls one out of his pocket. And one of the officers take Brian Laundrie to a motel with Brian smiling and talking. We don't know if he stays in the motel for the entire time or if he goes out exploring or to get food. The Bowen Motel was about a 2-minute walk from where Kylen Schulte worked at the Moonflower Community Cooperative Grocery Store, and a 15-minute walk to McDonald's where Crystal Turner worked. Those were the two ladies murdered between the 13th and the 17th. They were last seen alive on the 13th of August 2021 at Woody's Tavern, where they complained to friends about a creepy guy near their campsite. August 13th, Brian makes an IG post with a geotag location of Moab, Utah, and 2 with a geotag of the Arches National Park saying, not a lot of biodegradable packaging for on-the-go food these days, and that's why I stick with my melon rinds, apple cores, peach pits, and banana peels. Also, most melons contain about 90% water. Talking hydration. Let's keep plastic water bottles off the trail, or better yet, off the planet. The photo looks dim, like it might just be after dawn or before dusk, but could just be the camera lighting, I suppose. There's a small arch behind him and one with a very big flat-like stairs, and I'm not sure which area that is in Moab. Does anyone know if that's closer to where him and Gabby were the day before, or closer to where Crystal and Kylen were? I will show you the Instagram photo. Yeah, that's the one right there, because he's got the 3 on the 13th, and this is the last 2. And you see how it's kind of dim, and it's got the geotag. When you do a geotag, could he have taken it the day before and did the geotag and then posted it on the 13th? I'm not a big Instagram user, but the thing that really creeps me out about this is that I would have thought he bought the melon at the grocery store, and I'm guessing that, well, Kylen was the cashier, and I believe somebody said something about her dealing with the fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and I don't know, I just wonder if he bought that melon from Kylen, and that uh, it's just a little bit creepy to me. So, did he buy it from her? So August 13th, supposedly 9 to 3, Kylen worked at the Moonflower Co-op. I believe they might have said she only worked till 2:30 that day, but I'm not sure. Same day that she's seen at Woody's Tavern, it was a Friday. They said it was a Friday, and some reports came out saying it was Saturday, and then they said those reports were not correct. And Woody's Tavern posted that the last day was Friday, that she was there from 6 p.m. to almost 9 p.m. Kylen Schulte, she was 24, and Crystal Turner was 38. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. And they went missing. The first day that I noticed that it was said that somebody said August 14th they were missing, and that they were last seen on the night of the 13th, and that they were discovered on the 18th by Cindy Sue Hunter. It states that a 4-day search had been underway at the time, which sounds like the search had begun on the 14th and ended on the 18th when they were found. But there's always miscommunications. They were newlyweds, married in April, so they were married about 4 months. Kylen worked at the Moonflower Co-op and had worked there for about 4 years. And Crystal worked in the kitchen at McDonald's, but I believe I heard she was about to get a different job so that she could work right by the Moonflower. And I can't remember where that was, but it was so they would have their jobs closer, and that she was already hired there, but she had not switched jobs yet. So they had been together, it said, for 2 years as a couple. There's a video showing that they were at the tavern at 19:01 p.m., which is 7 p.m. It does state somewhere else that there is a video that shows them leaving Woody's Tavern at 8:30, so I'm not sure which time is correct. They told friends while they were there in the bar that there was some creepy guy camping near the campsite. And then it says that they didn't show up for work on Monday or Tuesday, and Monday and Tuesday would have been the 16th and the 17th. They were found on LaSalle Mountain Loop Road, the 18th, with multiple gunshot wounds to the bodies. They were found dead in a nearby very small creek. A nearby very small creek. They were partially dressed, and that they were undressed from the waist down. The wounds were located on their backs, sides, or chest. This states that they were reported missing 2 days before they were found, which means that they would have been reported missing on the 16th and not the 14th. So, see, there's always miscommunications. Kylen had mentioned to her friends that if something did happen to them, that they were murdered. So she had already been concerned that something might happen, and she wanted her friends to know. There was a 1987 Ford Econoline van towed from a parking lot, as well as a Kia Sorento, which was seized by the police from their campsite with a warrant. The investigators found miscellaneous items, including a journal, a Bible, newspaper clippings, mail, pay stubs, handwritten notes, handwritten phone numbers, paperwork on a storage unit that they shared with Kylen's father, and pay stubs. The van that was not at the campsite was parked at McDonald's. The police searched the storage unit as well. Kylen's father stated that there was a wedding going on very close to their campsite as well, and where they were camping would have been the turnaround if someone missed their turn into the wedding. His name is Sean Paul Schulte, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. He was upset that people attending the wedding, I don't think anybody was questioning them to see if they had heard or seen anything. Sean Paul set up in Moab to ask people to come forward if they had any information that could lead to information so he can find out more information. And he also has a Facebook set up, so you could. It's a small town. I'm sure if you have information, please get a hold of him or the police or both. The Moab population is only around 5,000 people. I'm not sure the date, but Gabby's Instagram is said to have changed, like someone else was doing her postings all of a sudden. Maybe they were longer or they were using less hashtags. Or one of them, it looks like he was either tagged at the end of it or like the tag kind of looked like he was signing the post. I don't know. 17th, Brian had allegedly flown to Florida. We had this information before to move her things over due to their fight, maybe. And he had returned on the 23rd, but we still don't know if it's been proven or if it's verified. We don't have any idea if he had the van and took it when he went to the airport or if she had the van. Did he have time to murder the couple on the 13th and then leave on the 17th? I don't know where he was. I don't. I'm looking at it and there's the 13th and there's where he is. I don't know where he was for sure on the 14th and the 15th and the 16th, and I don't think there's I don't think we have that on the calendar of where they were. The 13th for sure, but if he's in Moab, probably. And the 14th and the 15th and the 16th. And then supposedly on the 7th, he flew back to Florida. And no one knows at this point, other than perhaps the police and any agencies involved. Perhaps the same person who killed Gabby murdered those girls and ran thinking he would be blamed, as he had, or maybe he thought that, and maybe he had been abused in the past. Maybe different people murdered. We don't know. But I would think if he had not killed Gabby, that he would want her found with all the evidence still there to prove his innocence. As otherwise, why would he not be found guilty? Did Brian fly home to help move Gabby's things into a storage unit? Or now they're saying out of a storage unit. Recently, the Laundrie family attorney is saying that he did fly home, but I would like to see some sort of proof or witnesses. It's just how I am, I guess. And I would really like to know if he flew home to put the stuff in storage or to take it out of storage. Okay, on the 18th, the couple, Kylen and Crystal, are found shot at their campsite. They were last seen on the 13th. The last texts say that they were being, it wasn't actually text, it was them at the bar telling their friends that there was a creepy guy near their campsite. I think that at some point, someone had said that it was text, but it wasn't. Okay. So, and let's see. I kind of lost my place. Anyway, meanwhile, on August 19th to the 23rd, missing, there is this Robert, known as Bob Stiles Lowry, age 46, from Houston, Texas. He was missing. They had a ping from his cell phone from Jackson on August 23rd. In Jackson, he was seen at a restaurant called, I don't know how to pronounce that, Pista Mountain Bistro in Jackson Hole on a video on August 19th in Teton Village. So far, the last seen the following day, August 20th, in Bridger, Teton National Forest, where Petito's body was found on September 19th, but not in the same place, but in the Grand Tetons. So, the remains were found near Black Canyon Trail at the base of Teton's Pass on September 28th, and he went missing 40 miles from where Petito's body was found. Authorities are saying there is no connection. He was last seen wearing a black baseball cap with the letter P on it, a plaid shirt, a blue down Patagonia vest, blue jeans, carrying a black duffel bag with a Nike logo, a sleeping bag, and tent. He was 6 foot tall, with brown hair and blue eyes. He is thought to have taken a lift to Pearl Street Bagels in Wilson the next day. More than a month after he was last seen, his remains were discovered at the base of Teton Pass on Tuesday, September 28th. At about 1 p.m., a dog team discovered a body and a black Nike duffel bag off trail on a steep wooded slope, according to the news release. The search teams hiked a total of 75 miles. His remains were found on a steep timbered slope. The cause of death is currently unknown, and I don't think they released it. He was a father of two, age 15 and age 12. So, and I guess Brian was gone and had flown out of the area a couple of days before this to go to Florida, maybe. So, August 19th, Gabby uploaded a YouTube video, van life, beginning our van life journey. So, August 19th, there are 2 Instagram posts with no geolocation, possibly because maybe she was in the hotel and just uploading the photo. She did upload a photo of him sitting on the van floor near her legs, and she's like laying down. And there's another photo she uploaded. It appears to be taken by a drone of the van, so it appears they did have a drone. And if they had a drone, it might have a GPS. So, on August 21st was the last time her father spoke with her, according to Justin Schecker on WFLA News on September 15th. He mentioned it. August 21st was the last time. Okay. Gabby checks out on the 24th or the 25th. I've heard both. I'm not certain which is correct. I don't know how many days she stayed there. I don't think they're releasing the days that she was there. People are saying she was last seen at Salt Lake City Hotel with her fiance on the 24th, though. August 25th was allegedly her final call to her family, saying she was at the Grand Teton National Park. This is one of the posts on dailymail.com. The last time let's see. Okay, Gabby FaceTimes her mother, Nicole Schmidt, from Grand Teton. This was mentioned by Petito's father, I believe, her stepfather. According to Jim Schmidt, told CNN that the young woman communicated regularly with her mom and her family, saying, leaving Utah and going to Wyoming. Nancy Grace was on the news at a later date and said this and states that Gabby FaceTimed her mom about 3 times a week normally, and she mentions that it's critical information to know how often that they spoke. She said that her mom last spoke to her around August 25th. She said that they had checked out of the hotel in Salt Lake City due to the fires. She said around August 27th and around August 30th, and Nancy Grace is asking, were those texts from Gabby? She mentions that you would think that he, meaning Brian Laundrie, would be front and center out there. August 25th, they were spotted in Jenny Lake parking area by Russell and Shannon Baker around 5 p.m. August 25th, a lady claims they were in her store in the Rustic Row in Victor, Idaho. She said she wasn't sure the 25th or the 26th, and she said they told them that they could go through the west entrance to go to Yellowstone. August 25th, somebody posted to her Instagram the Happy Halloween, her final post. It's of a photo taken. I don't know if she took the photo the day before. I don't know if she took it while she was staying at the hotel and walked down there, or if when she checked out of the motel, probably. They drove past the Monarch, which was right there, and at 455 25th Street. It's in Ogden, Utah. So a lot of people say the hotel she was staying at was in Salt Lake City, but it might have been in Ogden, Utah, because they're right there together. The last phone call to her family said she is in Grand Teton National Park, and Like I said, I believe that was on the 25th, according to most of the sources. One witness said the van was parked there around 8 p.m. on the 26th, near where her body was found with Brian driving, and he was alone in the front, and he was acting odd, and that the van sat there till the 29th. And then there's the 26th and the 27th when their mother got those texts. The 27th, a young lady is saying that she saw them both in a restaurant, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. in Jackson, Wyoming, called Mary Piglet's Mexican Grill, and he was angry, loud, screaming, violent, and she was just crying and apologizing, and then she was standing on the sidewalk, and she was crying and sobbing, and he came back in, and he was screaming, and they are saying it was verified by the restaurant, and that maybe he spent, I think, $60.88 on that day, and there was a dispute involving the bill. So, and if we were going to speculate when he killed her, you know, it might have been just after that, sometime between then and, you know, 6:30 p.m., 7 p.m., sometime around that time. You know, it could have been happening while the van was parked there and people were driving by. I don't know. And because there's those videos where at the beginning of where you see the van, somebody shows, it looks like somebody's running and dodging and ducking back and forth, and then it looks like there's somebody wrapped up or tied up. It looks like their arms are like behind their back, but I don't know if anybody's edited the video to make it look like that, and you see it suddenly moves like somebody just kind of falls forward. I don't know if it's because the other person doesn't stop, but then you also see the thing in the front of the van that looks like the shape of a face with something on it, or it could be a teddy bear, you know. I don't know. You have to, you know, that's for the experts to look at it and decide, because there's all these web sleuths on all these pictures, and I don't know if they're editing the videos or if that's just how the videos are. So, and it appears he might have used the phones to text her himself after she was dead, but we don't know that either. And then hiked toward the showers and went through the creeks to maybe wash off and dry off some, or I don't know. Then he got rides to the back of the van. Then he took her van, and he started driving back, leaving her. We don't know if she was dead or alive at this point, but probably dead. And then he had to come up with a story if he's the one that did it. Her van is seen parked on the 27th on the side of the road, and that's where there's a video of the van on the 27th from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And people are saying there's one or two flip-flops on the ground outside the back right of the van. I'd seen her flip-flops before facing away from the van, but in this one they're facing the back. And then somebody else says on the left you can see there's a gun on the ground. But I don't know. I almost wish somebody would have stopped. You know, you just wish you could go back in time and change things. August 27th, there was an odd text sent to Gabby's mother that included the words, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." And Gabby apparently never called her grandfather Stan, so who was messaging her mother? August 29th, a woman, Miranda Baker, she says her and her boyfriend picked Brian up. They gave him a ride from Grand Teton to Jackson Dam. She says she picked him up at 5:54. They picked him up right outside of the shower area, as Miranda and her boyfriend had been taking a shower in Coulter Bay to take him to, he said, his wife, fiance, and they dropped him off at 6:09 p.m. at Jackson Dam. He approached them and told them he needed a ride to Jackson. He hopped in their Jeep. He had offered them $200 to give him a ride. She said just 10 miles, which they thought was kind of weird. He said that he had been camping for multiple days without his fiance. She was working on their social media page back at their van. She said, "We're going to Jackson." Miranda did. she said he freaked out and said, "Nope, I need to get out right now, like pull over." So she pulled over at the Jackson Dam and to let him out. She was just like, "Okay." She said she dropped him off at 6:09 and he kind of like hurried out of the car and said, "Okay, I'm going to find someone else to like hitchhike." And they were like, "Okay." She said it was like a very weird situation. She stated he was wearing a backpack, long sleeves, pants, hiking boots. She said he did not look or smell dirty, like he had been hiking for days. She said he was. She said she was going south out of the park, but he said that they were camping to the north. She said he told them that they were not camping at a regulated campsite, but that they were basically camping in the middle of nowhere along Snake River. She said that he said he had hiked for days along Snake River. His backpack was not full, and he said all he had in it was a tarp to sleep on. She said that she found it strange that he did not have food or a tent with him. She said that he never pulled out a phone, so they do not think he had a phone on him. They don't know. And she thought it was weird that they offered him the $200 to go to get a ride to Jackson, and they were going to Jackson, but when they went on the road that passes where that white van was parked, that's when he wanted to get out. And she thinks because he wanted to go that other direction. So, and then on August 29th, Norma Jean Jolovac, I don't know how to pronounce her name, a seasonal Wyoming resident from Florida, picked up Laundrie on her way to or from church at about a mile from Jackson Dam and dropped him at the Spread Creek area. She said at 6:30 to 6:40 p.m. He asked her if she was going to Jackson, and she said no, that she was going the opposite direction. He asked her if she would drop him off at the Spread Creek area near Pacific Creek Landing in Grand Teton National Park, and told her that he had been hiking along the Snake Creek area. He told her that he had a fiance. He had her drop him off at the gate of the camping area. She said she offered to take him inside, and he proceeded to try to get out of the car while it was still moving. And he joked that he wanted to impress his fiancee by hitchhiking, and he insisted that he be let out of the vehicle. He had grabbed and picked up her Bible, possibly leaving fingerprints on her Bible. Her Bible slid, and he had picked it up. He was sitting in the passenger seat of a 4Runner of her vehicle. So August 29th. Gabby is supposed to. See, I haven't heard this lately, but it said Gabby was supposed to text and meet her best friend in Yellowstone, but does not. So, and I'm guessing that's that Rose girl. August 30th, a text is sent to her mother from her phone saying no service in Yosemite. It's her phone was traveling without her at this point. Did she even ever get to Yosemite? In documents released by investigators, the FBI says Laundrie will be charged with intent to defraud for one or more unauthorized uses of a Capital One bank card between August 30th and September 1st, taking more than $1,000. The indictment does not say specifically to whom the cards belong. And like I said, this is all the whole blanket statement for the whole video. Everything is allegedly and speculation because I'm not positive. So you can double and triple check it on different places. August 30th on live TV coverage, it says the mother is Nicole Schmidt. The father is Joseph Petito. The mother said she received a text on the 30th during a TV interview. Gabby had 5 siblings. Her brother is 18 years old, and they had gone camping together before she went on the trip. And she says that Gabby and Brian have been dating for about 2.5 years. She said they were friends in high school and that they had rekindled the friendship and started dating. She moved to Florida to live with her boyfriend about 2.5 years ago, and at some point her father moved to Florida to be closer to his daughter. I don't know if that part she said, but I remember that being mentioned. August 31st, allegedly Rose Davis, who came out to say she had been Gabby's best friend and had posted something. She had posted something on Instagram, Rose did, saying she was innocent on August 31st. And many people think that she was referring to Gabby Petito in the past tense as if she knew she was dead. So people are questioning her relationship with Brian and if she was in Utah at the time of the death. And so people, there was also a very brief posting by Brian, people said that was accidental and that showed part of a boat, and they thought it was one of Rose's shoes, but it was nothing but misinformation, and he never posted that. And so the people that are this information Brian never posted, and now people who were once accusing Rose of not being a real friend may be the same ones accusing another YouTuber as being the source of the misinformation. So, instead of accusing Rose or accusing that other YouTuber, just just stop, just leave such judgments to the law enforcement agencies. It's not our place to judge who's right, who's wrong, who's guilty, who's not. So I did have a notation that a device had not been turned on since September 1st. I'm just going to leave that as a notation for now. I don't know if it was her phone or her computer. September 1st, a license plate reader detected the van about 10:26 a.m. on I-75 at the Northport exit. September 1st, news stated neighbors said Brian home by the 1st. It didn't have that on the news. I'm just putting that's when they said he was home, and he was riding his bike with his mom. It didn't say if it was that date, and he mowed the lawn. Now there's recent news that states that he visited his sister on the 1st. I guess she did not ask, hey, where's Gabby? Who Brian's sister said was like a sister to her. And the kids didn't ask either, hey, where's Gabby? Prior to this, I believe that the sister had come out and volunteered the information to the media, saying she had not had a chance to speak to Brian and that she wished she had. So now everything that I hear, well, achoo! Anyway, so I'm not watching her interviews with the media because, phew! Anyway, September 1st to September 3rd, her parents were to go to Brian's parents were supposed to go to Fort DeSoto Park in Florida. They had supposedly reservations to go camping. It's about an hour from home, and I guess they canceled for some reason. And then September 6th to the 8th, they all go camping, or he goes camping with his parents at site number 001 at Fort DeSoto Park. And there was a Newsom family right next to him at site 002. And they have a photo of what appears to be Brian walking in the family truck and the little camper that goes on the truck. And their lawyer now comes out and states that they had left on the 7th. And he's saying they went camping, but there are other records that show they may have left on the 8th. We don't know without seeing the footage, so what day they left. So anyway, this information, as far as I know, only came out from the attorney, I believe, after the neighbors reported seeing him leave for 3 days to go camping in the small camping camper, and they thought that was kind of strange that they would all go camping in that little camper with the 3 of them. And then it also came out recently that the sister was there, but she is saying she was not even there for very long at all, just a brief time. We don't know. So September 10th, Petito's dad goes to the laundry house, and there was an incident. I don't know if it happened once or twice. I could imagine there would be an incident. September 11th, Petito's mom reports her missing to the Suffolk County Police Department, I believe, in New York, at about 6:55 p.m. Laundrie and his parents refused to answer any questions from Petito's family or from the Northport authorities. And I think his sister is saying she never got any calls. So we don't know. So September 11th, the van is impounded by the police after Brian returns home in it. Someone stated that there were new stickers put on the back of Gabby's van as he traveled alone and it to Florida. So and people are wondering why did he put the stickers on there, and are they checking under the stickers for evidence or blood, or maybe he just, I don't know, maybe he's just traveling nonchalantly and collecting stickers still. I don't know. So, yeah. And then September 11th to September 12th, there's a statement that came out saying we have the vehicle, the van, we took it away late Saturday night into Sunday. September 13th, the Laundrie's lawyer, I think that's when he claims he spoke to Brian on the 13th. The attorney, I don't know when he said it, but I think he says he spoke to Brian on the 13th. The attorney then claims that the following weekend that Chris, Roberta, and Brian went to other places on 2 different dates and that the FBI is aware of this, but that doesn't make any sense because that's after Brian went missing and they were searching the area. So I don't know. There's got to be some confusion on my part there. So anyway, I don't know. I think the attorney made the statements around the September 28th or 29th. So, and I think the attorney also alleges that the Laundries had purchased Brian maybe a new phone after he returned home in Gabby's van, or he said no comment at one point when they say, can you confirm if Roberta Laundrie had a burner phone? And I think he said no comment. So his name is Stephen Bertolini, I think. And I think he said at one point to his knowledge that the parents did in fact purchase Brian a new cell phone, and that is the phone which the FBI is in possession of. So, I'm like, where's his old phone that he had when he was talking to the cops, 9:14, there's a Mustang. It's seen as not being in the driveway from a video. Okay, so then, I don't know. So then there's issues from when the Mustang's in the driveway and when it's not. September 14th, Laundrie family issues a statement through their lawyers saying that they intend to remain in the background. I don't know if I mentioned that already. While the search for Gabby is underway. So they're just not going to help with any information. Their statement basically is, nothing. September 14th, Brian parents report him missing, saying Carlton Reserve, Northport Police, last seen carrying a hiking bag. Officers searched the 2012 Ford Transit van, and Laundrie's parents tell police their son left his home with a backpack. And then later, the parents say that he didn't take his wallet or cell phone. And they're concerned for him. I don't know if they brought that up then. I think they might have mentioned it later. And September 15th, Laundrie refused to cooperate with authorities before his disappearance. So the Northport police say that Laundrie is refusing to cooperate, and they're naming him as a person of interest. And there's a search warrant issued, but I don't know if it's signed that day. September 15th, live news. Justin Schecker, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name. On the news, he said there's a statement from the Northport Police Chief Ty Garrison, which a part of the statement was that the lack of information from Brian is hindering this investigation. He then mentioned that the truth would come out eventually. There's a news video from the Northport Police Department, and he's saying that Brian is considered a person of interest. He states that there is currently no search warrant on their home. He says, we went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were handed the information with their attorney. He mentions that the vehicle was found at Brian's parents' home, where Brian and Gabby both reside. He said that the parents put out a statement yesterday saying they will remain in the background and that that's not good enough. He said that the van is in Gabby's name. He states that they got the van, that the police got the van or the FBI got the van on Saturday, and it was processed less than 12 hours ago by the FBI. He says they will use apps, they'll use bank statements, they'll use gas station footage, highway cameras, tolls, tips, cell phone usage, financials, and they have received some video footage from different times. They're going to just use whatever they can, pretty much, that they can get their hands on. He said it's mentioned that her Instagram went down briefly later, and elsewhere it is mentioned that there was a phony one created. I don't think he mentioned that. It's mentioned, but I don't think he mentioned that. Yeah, it's mentioned somewhere else. But there was a phony one created and they put the wrong one down. So then they got the right one back up. And WFLA said that Brian Laundrie is the only person of interest. So, September 16th, Joe Petito appeals to the public to come forward with any information that could help investigators. He said, I'm asking for help from the parents of Brian, and I'm asking for the help of family members and friends of the Laundrie family as well. He said, whatever you can do to make sure my daughter comes home, I'm asking for that help. There's nothing else that matters to me now, he said. September 16th, I believe that 2 elk hunters came forward to say that they saw that van on the 29th as well. September 16th, searching a computer external storage device, Black Western Digital external hard drive, has a serial number. It's now located in evidence at the Northport Police Department. It mentions files that contains emails, text messages, images, internet browsing history. It mentions Gabby's birthday, mentions the text on the 27th, mentions September 11th, the subject was entered as a missing person by Suffolk County Police Department in New York. And on September 11th, her van was located at her address at Northport. It also mentions that the vehicle entered the city of Northport on September 1st at around 10:26 a.m. Brian Laundrie's family stated that the subject was not at the residence and that they did not know her whereabouts. They refused to allow Brian to speak with law enforcement and directed the officers to the scene to speak with their attorney. It also states that her cell phone has been turned off for about 15 days and that there have been no sightings of her since August 27, 2021. It states that on 9/14 at about 7 p.m. that the search warrant was executed on the van. So on September 16th, they knew that there had been no sighting of her since August 27th. So, they're pretty updated on their information. I'm sure they have a lot more information than anybody on the internet does or other people that they're just not sharing because, it's an investigation. September 16th, mentioned in the warrant dated 9/16 to search external hard drive. That on August 27th, that Nicole Schmidt received an odd text that read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." The reference Stan was regarding her grandfather, but her mother said she never calls him Stan. The mother was concerned that something was wrong with her daughter per the warrant issued about the external hard drive. September 17th, Laundrie's parents tell police they have not seen Brian in 3 days since Tuesday, I think, and the police said Laundrie's attorney contacted authorities Friday because the family wanted to discuss his disappearance. Brian's parents have reported to us that he was last seen Tuesday when he went for a hike there. They reported him missing 3 days later. The Northport Police Department and FBI are working to collaborate the story. Someone named Taylor said in a statement. But it appears he had been missing for 4 days. I don't know. September 17, it appears the police remove a cell phone from Laundrie's Mustang on Friday, and one of the officers gets it and puts it in their pocket. I don't know if it's to ping his last location or if it was his phone or Gabby's phone. September 17th, there's a press release came out from the Grand County Sheriff's Office stating that it has been determined that the Gabby Petito person case is not related to the double homicide case involving Crystal Turner and Kylen Schulte. I also heard mention of someone named Taylor that said that the Laundrie family told officers Brian's car was found at the reserve and driven to their home from there. He did not elaborate on the definitive time frame for the car being driven home. Since then, we seem to have more of a time frame that's been more updated. So September 17th, somebody named Jason Anderson, who lives across from the Carlton Reserve, says he could hear the helicopters flying over the area beginning around 6 or 7 p.m. on Friday. So that's about when the search actually began. Someone named Sam Bass says a man fitting Brian's description was seen on his trail cam set up in the wilderness in Baker, Florida. Early Monday morning, the backpack worn by the unidentified man appears to be light colored, while Laundrie's was supposed to be dark colored co-op stuffed travel pack when he was in Moab, Utah. So they weren't sure if it was him. And there was somebody on Twitter, I don't know what day, they said they thought they saw Laundrie walking across the road in Alabama to a nearby Walmart. And they saw someone drop him off or something and walk across the road. Also on September 17th, there was neighbors took a photo of a man who it looks to me like he's wearing light brown hiking boots, but it's hard to see. So it could be, it's like skin tonish colored shoes and I don't know. Somebody said he might, I don't know. So it looks like he's wearing dark baggy pants and there might be a white stripe going up the side. I'm not sure. It's hard to see. And a gray shirt, sunglasses, and he's bald, and he's going down the street near the back of the property. And this is September 17th. So I don't know if it was him or not, but more recently, since then, now all of a sudden the neighbors are mentioning it again. Someone that's across the street from the back of the property is saying that somebody else thought they saw him, and that one of the other neighbors has surveillance footage where they probably have, they probably have him on the surveillance footage. If it was him coming out of the back of the property, and they show where he would have jumped over the back of the fence if he did, but I remember on the live TV seeing the cops actually looking back there behind that shed. So, we know they're aware of that and was looking into that and probably asked around. Someone on the internet said that there was a gun shown in one of their Instagram photos, so they thought they had a gun. So I'm not sure. I think they even mentioned what type of gun it was. But I remember that there's a gun shown on a YouTube video on the back of the ground behind the van. So, and I don't, like I said, I don't know if they photoshopped it. I don't know if it's legit. Wow. So, on September 17th, in a news video stream, Brian's sister spoke to ABC, telling him that she had not had a chance to speak to Brian since he returned to Florida. I think that was September 17th. She says that Gabby's like a sister. So, Petito's dad said he isn't sure that she is being fully transparent, according to the reporter. In the news video posted on, I think, October 1st, it states that his sister had, in fact, been on the 3-day camping trip with Brian and his family at Fort DeSoto Campground, and they stated that she had spent time with her brother another time as well, which was, now we know, probably on the 1st. Therefore, I'm pretty much disregarding and possibly excluding any other information from her or from her little interviews or whatever, because I really don't feel like I don't know if she's reliable or credible because of the different things that have been said so far. So if you heard me sneeze here and there, that's probably why. September 18th, the search for Laundrie begins based on the parents' story that they had not seen him, but I think it began the night before. And that is where they said that he went to that huge 24,000 or 25,000 acre Carlton Reserve in Sarasota, Florida. His parents say that was where he was headed the last time they saw him. And meanwhile, they were also searching the Grand Teton area for Gabby, with Gabby Petito still missing, and they had 50 law enforcement officers from 5 different agencies. I think that was in Northport, including the Northport Police Department. This is the search for Brian. And the FBI, the swamp buggies, the buggies, at least one bloodhound, maybe more, began searching the Carlton Reserve. So this is the search and they've been searching this forever, it seems like to me. But September 18th, the police have confirmed that law enforcement has access to pings from Brian and Gabby's mobile phones. However, it is unclear if those devices were currently turned on, but they're trying to get the updated locations. Um, they're not certain of the date. There's still talk of that fake Gabby Petito Instagram account was created and first spotted on Brian Laundrie's account, saying that she's alive, she's okay, she's well, and begging people not to bother Brian Laundrie and his family anymore. And then some internet sleuth said the fake account they think was linked to Brian's mom's phone number, and that they were searching and they thought the email was also somebody impersonating Gabby. And, can they be charged with impersonating Gabby and trying to say she's alive while she's dead, while they're searching for him, and trying to act like she's alive and fine? Can they be prosecuted for doing that if somebody did that, I would like to think they could at such a time like that. September 19th, authorities say they found remains near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, where the van was previously spotted. And this is where these people that said they gave him a ride and dropped him off, like that's where he was going. So, sounds like they were being honest and upfront. So September 20th, police execute a search warrant on Laundrie's home. They're seizing his car and a hard drive. I don't know if it's his car or his parents' car. I don't know if he had a car. And a hard drive that may contain evidence that a felony has been committed. The FBI agents searched Laundrie's home in Northport, Florida. He and Petito lived with his parents, Christopher, 62, and Roberta Laundrie, age 55. September 20th, a flight attendant took a photo of somebody in Canada. She thought it was Brian Laundrie, but I guess it wasn't. September 21st, Gabby remains are identified. They were found in Wyoming, and it's determined that it was a homicide. The FBI announced that they're taking over the criminal investigation, and the authorities continue to search for Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve area. So September 22nd, the divers join in the search for Brian Laundrie. September 22nd and 23rd, there's I think that's when the arrest warrant was issued for Brian Christopher Laundrie for use of unauthorized access devices, but I'm not positive. That's what I have down. September 23rd, Brian Laundrie spotted Green Cove Springs, Florida, covering face and running into the woods. If it was him, there's all kinds of different spotting. September 24th, somebody else said they spotted him. They thought in the footage from the reserve leaning up against a tree in the Carlton Reserve area in Florida. Oh, it's really raining hard here. September 23rd, Thursday, agents secretly trailed the pair, his parents, as they drove 150 miles from Northport, Florida, home to Orlando to meet their attorney on Thursday. And they stopped at the library and walked around, but they didn't get any books or do anything. I don't know if they were wanting, I was wondering if they were wanting to use the computer or something, but they were wondering if they were being followed. Who knows? But they spent some time in there, like a half an hour, and they didn't stop to look at a single book or display, they said. And then they hopped back in their truck, and then they stopped at another building. So September 24th, a candlelight vigil is supposed to be held for Gabby Petito in her hometown of Blue Point, New York. A lot of this may be hearsay, but like I said, it's as much as it's just what I have. So, and I still have that blanket statement on it saying it's all allegedly. September 25th, Dog the Bounty Hunter goes and knocks on Laundrie's door, but there's no answer. Their attorneys saying they're concerned about their son. They don't know where he is, and they hope that the FBI can locate him. That the speculation by the public and some of the press that the parents assisted Brian in leaving the family home or in avoiding arrest on a warrant that was issued after Brian had already been missing for several days is just wrong. 9/27, Dog the Bounty Hunter recently got a tip about the Laundries taking Brian camping and not returning him with him from Fort DeSoto Park at Pinellas County Park, but he got a tip that 3 people came in and 2 people went out, but I don't know, somebody else that is saying that they did all, in fact, all three leave there. And so, we don't know. September 28th, there's an escaped sex offender. John Freeman Colt, age 42, was arrested. There is mention of Wayne County, Utah, which includes part of the Canyonland National Park, which is very close to Moab, Utah, where that double homicide was. But I have still not found any charges yet brought against him in connection with Kylen and Crystal at this time. So I have no idea if he is connected yet. That's for authorities to investigate and discover. Anyway, he has never been charged with any murder to my knowledge, and he was to be released a long time ago, but they changed their minds and decided not to release and just keep him locked up forever. And I don't know what being locked up forever, if it would make you more of a monster, less of a monster. I would think, hopefully they were helping him. Anyway, he walked out of the sexual predator treatment program of the state hospital on June 30th. I think it's called LARNED State Hospital. And then he was captured in Utah, according to the U.S. Marshal for the District of Kansas, Ronald Miller. Wayne County, Utah authorities were notified of Colt's presence there by a citizen who observed a wanted poster and reported tips to the sheriff's office. Colt had been camping on U.S. government land, and as the Wayne County sheriffs were organized to arrest Colt, they noticed Colt passing their location on his motorcycle. There was a brief high-speed chase ensued, and then he pulled over and was arrested. In June was when he escaped from the hospital in Kansas by creating a staff ID badge and pretending to be a doctor. Then he passed by 5 secure doors on his way out of the gates before his capture, which was 800 miles from where he escaped. They think Colt had help even buying the motorcycle. And like I said, he was on government land in Utah, and the U.S. Marshals were tipped off by someone who thought they saw and called the sheriff's department. He was initially sentenced to 5 years in the state prison December 14, 2001 for aggravated sexual battery, attempted rape, aggravated burglary, and 4 counts of aggravated battery against law enforcement. And he was required to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. But after that, they decided that he was just too high of a risk to commit a future sex offense and too dangerous to be released. So, and this is all government land where the murders, I think, were committed. I think might have been government land, and where Gabby's body might have been government land. So this is why, if you're wondering why this is being investigated by the FBI or federal agencies, that's probably why. Info on October 5th from the Laundrie attorney. I don't know. They're saying August 17th to the 23rd. Laundrie's, this is when their attorney is saying that Laundrie flew home to Floirda on the 17th and returned on the 23rd to obtain some items and to empty the storage unit. Like I said, I would need some proof and witnesses that he got on that plane on that date and that he went to that storage unit and whether he was emptying it or filling it up, because I keep getting this info from different people, from Laundrie's family and from the attorney, and, chew! Anyway, the attorney is claiming that both of them paid for the flights and that they were sharing expenses. Anyway, which sounds like he is trying to use this to help him beat the charges for stealing her credit cards after her murder. And how did the attorney suddenly come out with this info, as no one's been in contact with Brian Laundrie, but suddenly, there's the attorney saying he knows this without even speaking to Brian Laundrie. So, anyway, it sounds like the attorney is gearing up for defense. He makes it sound like they were getting along so well and that they wanted to extend their trip, and that's why Brian went home. Anyway, the attorney is playing defense right now. We had heard previously that he had flown home to put her things in storage unit from somewhere. So it may also be a defense from where did her things go that were put into the storage at the time, We also heard that thing. It was reported by his parents on the September 7th that that his parents told the cops he went for a hike 3 days prior, and on the but then the date was not even the right date. It's a completely date, so we still don't have any proof that he flew home on those dates, even though I've heard that he did. So I don't know, because even on a later date, they said he left his wallet and his cell phone home. I don't remember them saying that from the get-go. So Laundrie's attorney is now saying that upon further communication with the FBI and confirmation of the Mustang being at the Laundrie residence on September 15th, that we were meaning him and the Laundrie's attorney, that they were meaning that they now believe that Brian left to the hike in the preserve was on September 13th instead of the 14th. It was just a misunderstanding. Chew! And that they are saying their recollection is wrong. Chew! So, and allegedly Brian Laundrie visiting his sister on September 1st, according to the attorney now. How much does it cost for a round trip flight? And how much does a storage unit cost monthly? They're saying that they did it to save money, to extend their trip so they have more money. Okay, well, and I had heard rumors a while back that she had told her mother that he had flown home to put her things and his things possibly into storage unit, and her mom had asked why. Why would he do that? So now we're asking why. Why did he fly home? Was it to take things out of the storage or put things in? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They only had 2 months left of their plans. I mean, it would cost what, $350 at least around to fly, probably a round trip. If the storage unit was what, $50 a month, then it would have been cheaper to pay for the storage unit for the next 2 months would only been $100. So spending over $350 to save $50 a month for 2 months, it does not equal saving money. It doesn't. It equals spending more money, like $250 total, if you're going to deduct what we're saving off the storage unit from the flight. And did he take her card and run home with it and use it to pay for his flight? And is that why she had to call her dad to buy food when she said she didn't have Wi-Fi? Because maybe she didn't want to tell her dad, hey, he ran off and took my card? Who knows? Who knows what happened? And this was after he was trying to run off with her van and her phone from other people. So, shared expenses. Maybe they shared expenses, but are they going to share credit cards? If you're going to share stuff like that, if you live with a man and you're dating him, or if you're going to share your credit cards in your bank, you're going to put his name on the card and get him a card so he has a card and you have a card when you're together. Otherwise, no. And you're probably not even going to do that much. You can live with a guy for a few years, who knows how long. And he has his bank and his card, and you have your bank and your card, and you could share expenses with each of you paying separately out of your own money. But no. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, keep the faith that Brian Laundrie will be found. He could be hiding anywhere. Maybe he hid at his parents for a time. Maybe he did not. It's not for us to judge. He could have hidden at his sister's, or he could have hid at his grandpa's. He could be near his grandpa's now. He could even be at an empty house somewhere. Doesn't his grandfather live in North Carolina? I don't know. He could have taken that truck on the back road somebody said they saw in North Carolina going towards California, trying to figure out how to get there on the back roads. We don't know yet, The authorities will find that out, and the people that are hunting for him. So just keep the faith and keep praying that Brian Laundrie will be found, because we all want justice for Gabby. And again, here's my blanket statement that a lot of this may be hearsay. I'm sorry it was so long. And it's not everything I could gather. I did leave some of the stuff out that I gathered. I just didn't want to put it in, especially whatever Brian Laundrie's sister has been saying. I'm not even putting it in, because I don't want to be influenced one way or the other, because it's my prerogative to. I don't want to hear it. I don't know that I find it believable. So anyway, So all this is a blanket statement that a lot of this or all of it, I don't know how, some of it's hearsay. We'll just call all of it hearsay, and I'm not positive about its accuracy. And there's a blanket statement over that it's all allegedly. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. Peace out. Later. Bye-bye.